She was very conceited. She knew that she was beautiful.
I actually didn't like him at all. He was very rude.
Amanda and Rob Moody met in the Air Force. Amanda was 18, Rob was 20. They both described themselves as immature, career-driven, and selfish. They judged one another even more harshly.
She wanted to be the center of attention.
He just would speak very degrading towards women.
But as time went on,
I got to know her a little better, and so I saw past the attitude that she had. I got to see another side of her, which was attractive to me.
We ended up spending more time together. We laughed, we traveled. He started being nice to me, even when he was still rude to everyone else. And I loved that because it made me feel very special. He leaned over and he just whispered in my ear, "You're the best thing that ever happened to me." And when he did that, it immediately went from friends to we're more serious.
As their romance grew, so did their concerns about one another.
When we were out in public, she would put on this, this hard facade.
When he did something I didn't like, I would tell him it's over all the time.
I just wanted to say what I wanted to say, and then she could deal with it.
But instead of heeding the warnings, Rob proposed marriage to Amanda at the Eiffel Tower. She accepted.
I think he realized that I had no skills to be anybody's wife. I did not like to cook, clean, and it was just a mess.
I would call her lazy. You're an adult. Clean up after yourself.
I had the total attitude, look, if you don't treat me the way I want to be treated, if you don't do the things I want you to do, I'll find somebody that will.
They argued about something almost every day.
I got really upset because her being career-driven.
I received a lot of awards, praise. He would say things like, "If they knew who you really were, you wouldn't get any of those awards." But then the more he would say those things, the more I started believing, like, maybe I'm really nothing.
Eventually, she would just walk out.
I thought to myself, it's got to be him. Because the only time my life is a disaster is being with him.
2 years later, Amanda walked out for good. She filed for divorce, put their home up for sale, and their legal separation began.
It was like someone hit me in the gut, and I was like, what? I called my mother, and she was saying, it's never going to work unless you have God in your relationship. So I found a church, and I started going. I was just like, I surrender. Lord, I surrender. I've tried everything. My life was a mess. I surrender. And so I accepted Christ into my life at that time.
Rob's mother called every morning to pray with him.
Not just about Amanda and I, but just making me the man that I was supposed to be. And I want to be that man. I really want to be a good husband. I just didn't know how to.
Rob desperately wanted Amanda back.
As I was praying, I just knew that God was going to restore our marriage.
Amanda, on the other hand, wanted nothing to do with Rob.
I was so angry with him. I felt like he destroyed me, and I went into big-time depression. I just felt really, really alone.
Several months later, Rob and Amanda met to complete the closing on the sale of their home.
And I remember when Rob walked into the office, he looked so handsome. It's like he was glowing. And not only did he look really nice, he was really nice to me.
After the closing, Amanda needed one more signature from Rob to finalize their divorce. As Rob signed the papers, his faith plummeted.
I got to a point where I was just like, I'm done.
Several days later, to Rob's amazement, Amanda called.
And she said, what happened to you? And I said, God has changed my life. I'm a Christian now.
I just kept thinking, I don't know anything about God. But if this is what God can do to a person, I want it, I need it, I need it.
I was just like, well, come to church with me and you can get what I have.
He preached on the unconditional love of the Father.
And I never knew that in my whole life, that anybody could love me like that. And I wanted that. And I said, yes, I want to get saved. And I did. I got saved.
Just 8 months later, Amanda proposed to Rob.
And I asked him, will you marry me again? And he said yes. When we went to the courthouse,
it was just erasing something, just making something wrong right.
Rob and Amanda say rebuilding a marriage isn't easy.
That's what this represents to me. What we were trying to do fell apart. And what he did right here it's forever.
Different people who love God first.
The Moody's must be doing something right. 12 years later, the former Chief Master Sergeant is homeschooling 4 daughters. And she's writing books about marriage and prayer. And the former Chief Master Sergeant's husband? Well, he's still working hard in the Air Force and very busy loving her.
I can't imagine life without her.
And I'm so thankful that he prayed for me.
I think we give up too easily. It doesn't matter what it looks like. Fight until the end.